So, which body would you rather have? The people pushing this agenda are either dumb or deliberately misleading you. Now, I'm all about choice, so they can pick one. And when these happy HIIT halfwits say HIIT v lit, they keep using the comparison of a sprinter sprinting v a long distance runner running. The inference being that we all want to look like the sprinter. Now, that assumption aside, I'm an ex-sprinter and long jumper, and so I should be whooping and hollering at this. But I have to tell you, this is the grossest lie perpetrated on anyone who's trying to consider a fitness option. The craziness of this, though, is that it's not only totally inaccurate, but it's a variation of another myth that the fitness industry at the moment is desperately trying to change. And the stupidest thing is that the same people who are trying to banish the myth on the basis of one fact are the same people who are trying to establish another myth on the basis of the same fact. Okay, in one breath, the hitmen are trying to correctly spread the word that all women need to do strength training. They're trying to undo the myth that if a woman lifts weights, she's going to end up looking like this. This woman looks like this because she lifts very heavy weights many times a session, many times a week, for many years. She also eats a very particular diet, has a very stringent recovery protocol, and takes chemicals that change her endocrine profile. It's impossible for a woman to look like this without doing those things. I mean, think about it. If she could look like that from lifting light a couple of times a week, on and off throughout the year, eating what she wants, going out with the girls, and swapping test shots for shots of Sambuca, she would. If a woman just lifts weights a couple of times a week and nothing else, the best she could possibly hope for is this. And she'd be a genetic freak if she achieved that. More likely, it's this. Why is this? Because at the end of the day, performance is all that counts. In the next breath, these HIIT bits are pushing this bull's wool. Now, it looks like a different issue, right? But the marathon runners and sprinters in these pictures are elite athletes. They're the top fraction of a percentage of the population with extraordinary genetic ceilings, doing extraordinary training and living an extraordinary life. If the average person does marathon or sprint training, it's as nonsensical that they would look like this as the woman who lifts weights would look like this. And ultimately, this is because of a total misunderstanding of a basic concept. Performance is the biggest differentiating factor between elite and non-elite. Not the individual components of the performance, like intensity, volume, biomechanics, recovery, but the sum total of them. Splitting them down and arguing over which is best is futile and confusing. You have to have all the elements of the package in the protocol for it to be successful. And arguing about which is better, high or low intensity, is like saying, I want to make the colour purple, so which is better for that? Blue or red? The lie in these pictures is that if you simply use the training method, regardless of absolute intensity, volume, biomechanics, recovery, you'll look like that. An eagle has feathers and descends from a height, but cover yourself in feathers and jump off a cliff and see whether you soar. There's more to performance than an individual component. If the aliens come and Safe Haven was 600 miles away on foot, a surprisingly high percentage would successfully make it. Watch rabbit-proof fence to see how far even little children can travel on foot. Given enough time and enough reason, people can cover amazing distances and will be thinner and fitter for the journey. But if the aliens come and say, we're wiping out anyone who can't cover 600 miles in a month, about 25 miles a day, the cull would begin. And the more they reduce the time, the more stringent the cuts. And not for a lack of fitness for most of it. Before fitness was the issue, people would struggle to recover in time for the next day, or their biomechanics would cripple them. Now let's look at high intensity. Same scenario, but it's a countrywide 100 meters. If the cutoff time's 2 minutes, then hey, nearly everyone's a winner. Sucks to be you. Drop the time to 13 seconds, and in the UK, 70 million suddenly becomes 7,000. Performance is all that counts. And it's that fact that these images ignore. Both are performing at an intensity level that the vast majority of people will never get anywhere near. An elite marathon runner is generally running faster for 2 hours than a weekend warrior HIIT athlete is doing in his 60-second sprint interval. And the elite sprinter's running at a speed that less than 0.0000042% of the population can get even remotely close to. What really gets my goat though is that in his fatuous comparison, the marathon runner at that level is actually running high intensity for long duration. They're not running heart rate 120 to 140, predominantly using up their fat stores. They're running 160 plus for 2.5 hours, torching through glycogen, fat, muscle, willpower, bloody mindedness, and anything else they could possibly muster to get them across the line first. That is not steady state cardio. That's lactate threshold for numerous hours. So yeah, you're going to look depleted. The more reasonable comparison is a person doing an hour's worth of exercise while watching TV versus an averagely slow person doing sprints. And guess what? They look about the same. How you look is most affected by how good you get at something. Excellence in HIIT or LIT is going to make you lean. Mediocrity in either is going to make you look mediocre. The real difference between these two is not the intensity they're performing at, because they're both performing at high intensity for the duration. The difference is how much they lift in the weights room. A long distance runner will have a fraction of the strength of a sprinter, and sprinters lift more than long distance runners in the weights room. Dwayne Chambers is doing 180 kilo jump squats. Good luck trying to do that in your next WOD. Elite sprinters that don't lift look like this, which isn't too much different to the long distance guys. And low intensity cardio guys that are as strong as sprinters look like this. So it's blatantly not the HIIT that makes you muscular and lean. And one last thing, there is no sprinter on the planet that does HIIT in the way these HIIT twits are suggesting you do it. 15 to 30 seconds of sprinting followed by 15 to 30 seconds of rest repeated over and over. That'll help you get fitter, but it won't help you get quicker. And quicker is a sprinter's only concern. Performance of quickness pays the bills. Not looking good. And I can't think of a sport where you don't need to win much, but you can still be successful because of your looks. Well, maybe tennis. Alright, fair call. Let me make it up to you. I'll do the ending. What do you reckon? Okay. If you agree with what he said, give him the thumbs up. And if you want to stop these lies, please subscribe. Woo!